Oh,
okay, Amy.
Doing it again.
Here we go.
I don't know. That had a lot of neck movement in it. Are you okay? Do you need a massage now?
I'm so weird already.
Welcome.
Welcome
to On the Haunt.
Hello, I am Whitney.
I'm Amy.
And we're on the haunt.
I said that.
I just wanted to reiterate.
Or are you saying it like it's a verb? Like this is something we're actually doing. We are going to be going on the haunt, though.
We are!
Next month.
Forgot. High five. Oh my God, my face hurts from smiling already. We are going on the hunt. So, a friend of mine, Brett, I don't think she listens, but hey, Brett, if you do, she tagged me in something on Facebook, and we're going to be going to a haunted, should we say where it is? Because then that really, pinpoints our location on the map.
Maybe we'll live stream it or do something fun with it.
Yeah, we'll be on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll be on Instagram. So just keep your eye out on August 21st. There's going to be a surprise coming your way. Amy and I are going on a ghost hunt, you all.
Yeah, which I told my daughter about, and she was really offended that we didn't invite her. No. Whatever, get over it.
Oh, well, it's not too late. I'm sure it's not booked up. And we're bringing producer Chris and best sister-in-law Mandy.
Yeah.
It's an On the Haunt outing. And Amy, obviously.
Thanks. And me. Mandy knows what she's in for. She went on a haunted tour of Alton.
Yes, she did.
I think that's where we went. Real memorable.
Troy Taylor.
Yeah, we went to Jilly's Cupcake Bar, though, first. That was amazing.
Jilly's, so good. Okay. So we're going to live stream that. It's going to be awesome. I was going to look up my sources, but I didn't, so whatever. I'll do it next time.
No, you named it.
Oh, yeah, it's Japan Times.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No, everyone's like, what are you talking about?
No haunted housekeeping.
Oh, my gosh. I do want to say, I should have said this last episode, but a couple shout outs. We've had some two very sweet people tag us on Instagram. So Sam tagged us. Did you see that? With her baby.
So cute.
Listening to us, and it was so sweet. And then Anna, my friend Anna from high school. I haven't seen her in forever, but I need to see you, Anna. She's such a great On the Haunt fan, and it's so sweet. She tagged us. Going for a run or something on the beach. I'm just like, look at our fans out there living our fans. That's embarrassing. I shouldn't have
we know
said
you're
that.
not our fans. We're
no,
just
you're
kidding.
our people. Thank you. We appreciate you. God, Amy,
you're hitting me with your bun.
I'm sorry.
All of her hair is flying in my face and just
we're so close,
slapping me. I'm
so close to you.
You really are. Has this table gotten smaller?
So sorry. Okay, let's put the people out of their misery. Because this is painful as I'm literally harming you. I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. Going with my Japanese theme, because I did a Japanese story on the last episode, I'm going to do another one tonight. Okay. The same night. Because we're recording 2 episodes in one night. Moving on.
That's our thing now. That's how we roll.
It is.
We are so busy. It's really hard to get together once a week and do this.
It kind of is.
Which we've been getting together once a week. How is this possible?
I don't know.
This math is not adding up.
Our math, we don't math. Or economics.
No. Or finance.
Or any of the
numbers stuff. Okay. Japan.
I'm doing Tsunami Ghosts.
Oh.
Your face was like,
no, I think this was an episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
It was. That I didn't watch.
Well, I did.
But I should have, and I will. Okay. Tsunamis scare the crap out of me.
Well, yeah.
In general.
Because they just come out of nowhere.
Well, kind of.
No, I mean...
Well, sometimes, yeah.
Because they're like an earthquake in the ocean.
Yeah, but sometimes people feel the earthquake. Yeah, but yes, you're right.
But still, you don't know it's going to create... You don't know you got to flee from a giant
it's horrifying.
Wave.
It's literally horrifying. So I'm going to go into a little detail about this. So March 11th, 2011, off the coast of the northwestern region of Japan, a magnitude 9 earthquake struck off 45 miles off the coast. Oh my God. I'm going to say that again. I'm just going to read what I wrote instead of trying to paraphrase it like an idiot. On March 11th, 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake struck 45 miles off the coast of the northwestern region of Japan. So we all know that an earthquake happens and then it triggers a tsunami. So the earthquake triggered a tsunami with waves quickly broaching the 18-foot tsunami wall around the region of Tohoku. The tsunami lasted approximately 6 minutes, which isn't very long. But if you think about the massive amounts of water that are just coming in.
That's way too long.
30 minutes,
seconds would be.
You're just like, oh my gosh, looking at your watch, it's still happening.
So devastating.
It is so devastating. So I go into quite a bit of details about it. But I'm going to go rogue here and just talk a little bit about it because I watched a ton of videos today because I did this today. Yes, you heard that correctly. Of people just
in between her busy schedule of catching up on the Real Housewives.
I'm a busy woman. Oh, Denise Richards and Brandi Glanville. I'm just now learning about the drama in your lives a year after it happened. Where have I been? In a pandemic. I don't know.
Kathy Hilton, I love you. Thanks for joining the cast.
Yeah, I can't wait to start watching that. Dang it, Amy. She has brought me to the dark side.
Welcome.
The Real Housewives. Dorit, what's your purpose? Moving on.
A lot of people call her Dorito on social media. They don't like her. Oh, look at Dorito. What's Dorito doing this week?
She's so strange. I just don't understand. PK, I'm like, what?
She goes, oh, Jaggy, come here, Jaggy.
And I'm just like,
shut
your
up,
poor
Dorit.
kids. God.
Sorry, if you're not into the Real Housewives.
Yeah, good for you.
Maybe you should
or
be.
Maybe you should
It's
be.
great entertainment.
It really is, and it's great, just mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Relax, forget about your problems. Watch these people fight about the dumbest things.
Oh, for sure, the dumbest thing.
Why you brought full glam to this exercise?
Yeah.
Thing, it's like, shut up.
Why are you taking so many pictures, Dorito?
I mean, that's
But
true.
this season with Kathy Hilton on there, I remember like Sutton was all upset and crying. She's like, I can't just pretend I'm hunky-dory. And Kathy Hilton, as serious as can be, is like, who's hunky-dory? Like, she thinks it's like Sutton's saying, I can't just be this person. I'm like, I love you.
That's amazing.
She travels with her own fan. Everywhere
What?
she goes, because she just gets so hot.
Oh, I thought for like glamour reasons.
No, just
like J-Lo.
No, like night sweats.
Beyonce. Oh, no,
Those
I
ain't
mean.
no joke. I have a
legit,
tower fan and a ceiling
Yeah,
fan.
I'm not playing.
and-
I asked. We got this fan on. I am like,
okay. The
sweating
people are
to
not
death.
here for this. Let's go.
No, they don't care
Okay.
about the Real Housewives. Okay, so anyway, with this video, so I saw some differing things around this, but it's like the earthquake hit, and then literally within like, well, again, I keep thinking 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was 6 minutes. The water was actually coming onto land. So that water is moving underwater. The water is moving in the ocean to the land at like 500 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers.
No, but
Don't ask
it
me.
is
Fast.
It's like a tornado rolling
And it's just
through. It
whoosh, like coming, yeah.
It destroys everything.
Everything in its path. So it left over 16,000 people dead, missing or presumed dead. Many drowned, but thousands more were killed by blunt force when the trees, cars, and buildings were torn aside by the terrifying force of the tsunami. And they called it tsunami soup because it's like, it's not, you think it's just like ocean water. Oh, it's ocean water. But no, it's like lumber and trees and cars and all this crap in water swirling around, like impaling you. It's just horrifying.
Yeah. And it's really difficult to even search for survivors because there's so much debris.
Yeah, it's chaotic. It's just terrible. That tsunami also triggered meltdowns at the Fukushima nuclear power station.
Oh, great.
I don't really understand what that means. Meltdown at the power station. Do you?
I'm just assuming like it all stopped working.
Yeah, but then doesn't, because you think about nuclear power and that, this is making us sound so smart. There's like consequences to that stuff getting leaked out.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Carcinogens and such.
Yeah, everything.
Erin
about it
Brockovich.
Yeah.
So is all that stuff come is when
Did
there's
you know that Erica Girardi's husband was the
Yes.
lawyer for
and then
Erin
now
Brockovich.
he's like an evil.
He's terrible. He stole all those people's money. I think I talked about this on an episode already. Sorry.
Watch The Hustler and the Housewife on
really
Hulu. What is wrong with this? Is not a Real Housewife podcast.
No,
moving on. So that the meltdown at that nuclear power station made many of the surrounding areas still uninhabitable. Even places that like weren't jacked up from the tsunami, people couldn't even return to their homes because of that.
Right, all of the nuclear waste.
Yeah, it's just terrible,
just contaminating everything.
So after the tsunami's devastation, more than 340,000 people were left homeless, and the affected area was gripped with shortages of food, water, shelter, medicine, and fuel. It's just horrifying. More than 120... I'm just trying to really give you the picture of how terrible this was before I get to the ghost. Hang tight. So more than 120,000 buildings were destroyed, with almost 300,000 suffering partial collapse. Roads were swept away, railway lines. It was terrible. Did you know that tsunami in 2011 was the most expensive natural disaster on the planet? Wow. According to The Mirror. It's estimated that it's cost $235 billion in repairs. I wonder if it's because of that nuclear... part of it being that nuclear
and it
power
was
station too.
Such a heavily populated area too that made all of the destruction even more devastating.
It's just so sad. So I just, as I was typing this up, I just really stopped for a moment and like tried to put myself in these people's shoes. Like, you're just minding your own business. Oh God, this is terrible too, but I'm going to tell you because it's what we do on this podcast is talk about terrible things. But there was a elementary school during this, and I guess they didn't. So like you just imagine, so step back for a second. So imagine you're just kind of going about your business. You feel this earthquake. And then you hear the tsunami alarms go off. I don't know what that sounds like. I'm imagining a tornado alarm. Yeah, that's what we have around here. Tornado sirens. And you literally have minutes to get to high ground. So like climbing up, like going up higher in your building, if that's even safe, or like getting up on a mountain or something. And you know that water is traveling 500 miles an hour towards you. And I mean, so many kids in that elementary school died because they didn't have a plan. And it's like, what? Or they didn't follow. Sorry, I'm burping up my Coke. They didn't follow their proper plan.
But even if you have a plan, when it's moving that quickly, are you really going to be able to facilitate that plan?
It's horrifying.
Efficiently?
Yeah, it's just horrifying.
I can't imagine you could.
Okay, so all that happened. Now which is just horrifying and so terrible. Let's get to some of the aftermath here. I don't know what year this happened in this part. After 2011. So Yuka Kudo was a sociology graduate student who traveled to, Ishinomaki. Yes. Thank you, phonics. She traveled to Ishinomaki with the idea that this was like for a graduate assignment. She was like doing a paper or something. Okay. To talk to some cab drivers who lived in that region regarding their post-tsunami experiences. So she talked to 100 cab drivers. I don't know many older Japanese men, but many of them blew her off. They were like, "We're not talking about any ghost stuff, lady. Get out of here with that."
Back off.
You know,
a cab to drive.
Probably, maybe not superstitious, or maybe those folks didn't believe the supernatural. Maybe nothing had happened to them. Maybe they were afraid to talk about it. Don't know. Yeah. But 7 of them spoke to her and had some things to say.
Well, thank you, you 7.
Yeah, you 7. So one driver was driving his cab, minding his business, and he was driving through a particularly hard-hit area of the tsunami when he saw a young woman hailing him. I've literally never hailed a cab. I don't know if I'm doing that right. So he pulled over and he noticed that she wore a heavy winter coat, even though it was summer, which he thought was weird. And she was soaking wet. Also weird. Maybe not because she's maybe sweating. Because she's wearing a winter coat.
So hot.
I wish I could take this coat off, but I'm a ghost and I can't remove my clothing. That'd be weird.
Why is this my ghost outfit?
Sorry, I'm just now doing a ghost striptease.
What?
Sorry. It's fun.
Oh, that puffer coat just does something.
So she got in the cab and she asked to be taken to the specific district in the area that like is gone. Like it's just not a place anymore because it has been decimated. And the driver's like, "Really? That area is empty. Like there's nothing there." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And he said that the back seat was silent for a moment. And then suddenly he just heard her say in a trembling voice, "Have I died?" And he's like, "Oh!" And he turns around frightened. And she had vanished. Have I died? If you have to ask, the answer is yes. People who are alive don't ask, "Have I died?"
Well, that's not entirely true.
Have I died?
Well, okay. Is this what death is like? I mean, and this coat in the middle of it. Like, if I were outside today in the direct sunlight and a coat, I would probably say, "Have I died?"
You're just wet.
If not, I'm about to.
You're just...
My core body temperature is way higher than it needs to be.
Oh, my gosh. So another driver told Yuka, the girl doing the report or project, of a lost-looking man in his 20s that he had picked up and who kept pointing forward when asked where he wanted to be taken. After having been asked several times for an address, because he's just back there pointing in the cab, he's like, "Dude, can you give me an address?" Like,
that's how this works. You have to tell me your destination.
Point. Use your words. Pointing. The passenger simply stated, I don't have this one phonetic. Hayarorama. I'm sorry, that's so wrong. Which is a mountain that was located not far. So they arrive at the summit of that mountain. The driver turns...
God, what kind of cab is he driving? That's impressive.
Oh, yeah, the summit.
It's like a roller coaster when you're going up the climb, before the big drop. It's like boom, boom, boom.
It's funny. Boom, when I was writing this, I thought summit in my brain meant the bottom, but no, it means the top. What kind of cab? Off-road cabbing.
It's like the magic school bus.
John the Magic School Bus. What a great show. Anyway, the driver turns around and the guy's gone. So he's probably like, "What the hell? I don't even get my fare.
Summit, and now I got to do the downward.
And you don't get your fare."
No. And that probably took a whole tank of gas to reach the summit.
And both of those guys that Yuka talked to, they had actually wrote those fares in their little fare journal. I don't know what they're called.
Log,
thank you. Dear diary. I mean, that is journal worthy.
For sure.
But they wrote those fares down and that they didn't get paid for them. Ghost fare number one. How does that work?
Does the company reimburse you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so this guy named Richard Lloyd Perry wrote a book called Ghosts of the Tsunami. So he actually... I can't remember if he's an American. I think he's an American that lives in Japan and had lived there for many, many years prior to the tsunami happening. So he wrote a book about it. And according to his book, some people reported seeing loved ones and neighbors after the tsunami had happened that were missing. Or hopefully it wasn't just them alive walking around trying to find their way home. But saw their ghosts. Others complained of strange demonic creatures that they just started seeing around. And still others claim to be possessed, sometimes by multiple spirits of tsunami victims. So again, you got to think that these folks, that folklore that I talked about last episode about the Yurei, that's still a thing. That's something that this culture believes in. Some folks, I'm sure, not everyone. But again, if you died from a tsunami, talk about violent. So one middle-aged man in the town of Kirihara hated to go out in the rain because he would see the eyes of the dead staring up at him out of puddles.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, don't go out in the rain. That's horrifying.
Can someone fill these potholes? There are too many puddles.
Too many puddles. A fire station in Tagahoy incessantly received calls to houses that had been destroyed. Calls that only stopped after the firemen drove to the ruins and prayed for those deceased residents. Can you? That's so you just start fire station, and they're just like, "Help us at this house," and you're like, "That's not a place.
That doesn't exist anymore."
Yeah.
And how awful to be. I don't know what would be worse, to come back as a spirit and know you were dead, or to come back as a spirit and not know,
and you're just reliving all of this, or just in this weird purgatory where you don't. I know, it's terrible. So I guess there were obviously a lot of refugee communities and temporary housing situations when all this was going on. And the one ghost that was notorious at the time was this ghost of this old woman who just kept appearing in the living rooms of some of these temporary houses. And she'd sit down for a cup of tea. And then, like, later on, you'd go over there and she'd be gone. But the cushion was wet with seawater. Oh. And you're like, what? Maybe she just beat her.
Yeah, it's like, how do you know it's seawater? There's just like seaweed sitting on it.
You smell it.
It's very salty.
Just salt. And also, maybe she's a woman suffering from incontinence.
Yeah.
Happens to all of us. Not all of us.
Contact Lisa Rinna. She endorses adult diapers.
This is a very R-O-B-H. R-H-O-B-H. Anyway. Okay, so that guy, Richard Lloyd Perry, who wrote the book Ghost of the Tsunami, also spoke with a Buddhist priest named Reverend Teo Kaneda, who told him about a man named Takashi Ono who had become possessed. Kaneda and Ono both lived miles from the coastline where the worst of the disaster had occurred. While Kaneda helped countless people properly bury their loved ones, Ono stayed away from the disaster zone until he finally went on his own to face it months later. After seeing the monumental loss and devastation, he returned home and had dinner with his family. Afterward, he went into the backyard and started rolling in the mud, speaking in a guttural, aggressive way. The next day, he had no recollection of what he'd done. Maybe that's just like a reaction to stress.
Could be.
Extreme trauma and stress also. And then there's just... some people, this one's very strange to me. Some people even reported seeing queues of ghostly figures waiting patiently outside rubble, which had previously been a supermarket before it was flattened by the tsunami. So just like waiting to get their groceries. You're still grocery shopping.
No.
It's just terrible.
All the least favorite activities just never go away.
And that's mine.
All right.
And that's my story.
Yeah, I highly recommend you watch the
I'm
episode
going to
of
go
Unsolved
home and
Mysteries.
I should have watched it, but
and it's like on the Netflix Unsolved Mysteries, the new. In fact, I think it's the newest season too.
Season 2? I don't think I've watched season 2.
Pretty good.
Okay.
It came out when I had my surgery, so I'm like, yes, thank you Netflix for
they knew what was up
my back. All right.
Okay.
My topic is the House of Death.
Oh.
My sources, couldn't retrieve that word to save my life, are NewYorkGhost.com and I gotta scroll down to the New York Post.
Okay. The House of Death. I've never heard of this.
All right. So, the building itself is as pretty as any other revivalist Greek brownstone in one of New York's most pretty neighborhoods. So, we're going to New York. I got a theme.
Cute.
My last one was Angola, New York.
Now me too. Japan.
Now we're in Greenwich Village.
Okay, Greenwich Village.
So, it's on West 10th Street in Greenwich Village. And it's known as the House of Death. It has at one time or another housed many of the city's bright and beautiful, including the wife of the founder of the Metropolitan Underground Railroad and Broadway Underground Railroad. Are you ready for this? Mr. James Borman Johnston. He's back.
Love it.
Johnston was responsible for founding a reading room, library, and the famed 10th Street Studio, a collective with studios, galleries, and annual funding for resident artists unique in New York City at the time.
What year is this? Because you said Underground Railroad. Is that what I'm thinking, Underground Railroad? Or something?
Well, no, this was in 1856.
Okay, got it.
Broadway Underground Railroad.
Okay.
So I'm thinking probably like, I don't know that would have been a subway, but maybe they had like an underground passage where people would walk under the streets of New York would be my guess.
Actual passageways.
Yeah. So he used it for those things, like for studios and different things.
That's cool.
After he died, his wealthy widow and their daughters moved into the house in the 1880s. Okay. So then they made it more of a residential.
Okay.
So the house seems to have started earning its reputation gradually after the Borman family stopped living there. So he used it for his studios. He died. Wife and daughters moved in. Really nothing happened for them to make it. It seemed like anything paranormal or strange was going on.
Okay.
So the first recorded incident of bad luck happened in 1897. And this is funny. I mean, so this isn't funny, but this The way they describe this guy is funny.
Okay.
Cycling celebrity.
What is that?
Fred H. Andrew.
What?
It's like
Bicycles?
Yeah. Like Lance Armstrong, I guess.
Unicycle?
No, he's a cycling celebrity.
Okay, no, nobody's a cycling celebrity except Lance Armstrong.
So he was the new owner and occupier of the house. And during his residency, he had a moment of reckless bicycle riding, that's in quotes, that caused him to hit a boy around 8 years old, and the boy suffered a broken leg. And Andrew was arrested.
Oh my God.
So I don't know if he was like drunk or why it was reckless. And that really has nothing. That's just kind of talking about some of the bad luck. This is when the bad luck started.
Yeah.
But the house's most famous tenant was none other than the mustachioed Mark Twain.
No way. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the
Samuel Adams, as Amy said.
So he actually lived there at the end of his writing career, at the tail end of it. But that was also the height of his celebrity, which is interesting. And this says his real name was Samuel Clemens. Yes, we've established that.
Yes, we know. Not Adams.
He lived there 3 years after Fred Andrew, the cyclist, started the streak of bad luck. So Mark Twain had only lived in the house for a little over a year. And he was battling bankruptcy. Oh. And, just felt like he had to just keep, churning out stories. Mm-hmm. Because, you strike when the iron's hot.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily what he considered his best work, but it was actually considered his classic works.
Interesting. Wonder what he considered his best work.
I'm not sure. Doesn't say. He was also fighting depression.
Oh.
This does not help by the sad mustache he wore constantly.
Just his
mass mustache.
It's like he could take it off and put it on.
There's a picture of him. It is kind of a sad.
Oh gosh!
Mustache.
Well, it's not groomed.
No, it's really
at all.
not. It's kind of out of control. It's like,
how does he get food in his mouth?
It's like winter's coming early this year. When I look at that, it's like one of those worms. It's gross. Okay, so that's probably why he's not
couldn't get a girlfriend.
No,
or boyfriend.
So, it says Twain was a noted ghost skeptic, yet he wrote a clear and plain paranormal experience he had in this house. One evening, he witnessed a large piece of wood kindling move in the air all by itself.
What?
Yeah,
just like a log.
Yeah, basic kindling. So yeah, so he thought the wood was being moved by a rat that had some use for the wood.
That's alarming.
Yeah, like the rat. What's happening in your
and what's happening in your house where you have rats so big they can move a log
to make it in
a house?
Air.
Right, and what's it going to do with
this rat?
Whittle it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about whittling.
So since he thought it was a rat, he whipped out his gun and shot it.
Let's shoot inside your house.
Yeah, never a good idea. And the piece of kindling fell to the ground and had a few drops of blood around it.
From the rat? No.
Well, back then it said rats outnumber people in New York. Probably still do today, honestly. But the house was not noted for any type of infestation. And Twain maintained that the blood was that of a rodent and not a ghost, even though there was no rat found, because he was just like, no, there. It was a rat.
And ghosts don't have blood.
No, but or do they?
Oh well, I mean, true. Also, it seems like the kindling was too high in the air. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, although he didn't have a lot of pleasant memories in the house, he can still be seen roaming the stairwell.
Ooh, Mark Twain.
Yeah. In the house of death.
And that mustache,
yeah, so subsequent occupants have seen him trudging up and down the stairs.
Trudging?
Yes. Oh, God. Mustache. Commonly considered the most haunted section of the home. The stairs
Just him. Mm-hmm. That's creepy.
He may also be responsible for disembodied marching sounds that have been heard everywhere in the vacated parts of the house. Shut up! Why are you marching?
1, 2, 3, 4. Why?
Yeah.
Why, Mark Twain?
So one notable Twain encounter was reported in the late 1930s. By 1937, the house had been converted into a co-op building made up of 10 condo apartments. So shortly after the building's transformation, a mother and her daughter bumped into Twain's ghost, perched on a window seat. Just perched on a window seat. He nonchalantly approached the pair and said, "My name is Clemens, and I has a problem here I gotta settle."
What?
And then he disappeared moments later into thin air.
Okay.
So no one knows what problem he needed settled.
He had the hemorrhoids.
He's a ghost. He's like, that's a big
I'm
problem.
dead.
And at first I thought it was a typo or it says I has a problem, but I saw that exact same quote in 2 different articles. So
That's just the way he talks.
so no one really knows what
was
the
the
problem is. But
problem?
remember, he was going through bankruptcy.
Oh, yeah.
So some people think maybe it was just he was talking about his finances.
I had no idea he went bankrupt. That's interesting. I didn't know that until just now. Thank you for educating me.
And it is a mystery to people why he would haunt that house
And not
in New York
Hannibal?
when he died in Danbury, Connecticut.
Oh.
So
How
no
much?
one knows. All right. So let's fast forward a little bit to 1957.
Okay. Shall we?
We shall. Jan Bryant Bartell moved into the huge old mansion, and she felt a monstrous moving shadow that loomed behind her. She turned and saw nothing there, but was not able to shake the feeling that she wasn't alone.
Imagine if you turn and there's just Mark Twain.
Yeah. The incident, this is kind of hilarious. This is from the New York Post. The incident took several minutes, several cigarettes, cups of tea, and nips of brandy to shake off. Well,
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be the last in the 7-year stretch of psychological and sometimes physical torment that Bartell suffered from what she claimed were the icy hands of the house's former inhabitants reaching out from the afterlife to grab her.
Ugh, and she lived there for 7 years?
For 7 years.
I mean, I always judge people for that, but it's like, hey, you get in a financial situation where sometimes you can't get out of the house.
Right.
You know, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And her story is just one of many documented stories and legends from that specific address in Greenwich Village. Otherwise, it says the block is picture book perfect depiction of New York. And I'll show you. Like, it's beautiful. Here's a picture.
Oh, which one? The middle one?
The red one. There.
Oh, yeah. It's very beautiful.
gorgeous
I want to live on that street.
Residents have reported, obviously, seeing the ghost of Mark Twain. So not just that woman and her daughter, but multiple residents have seen his ghost walking about in a white suit.
Of course. Didn't he all... It's...
In white suit and hair. Still on his hair.
He's still...
Kept that with him.
He's still Colonel Sanders.
Along with a spectral cat waving its tail.
Oh.
And a woman in a long flowing gown passing through doorways.
Oh.
Some say there's a curse.
I'm
though,
sorry.
that-
It's hilarious, though, because it's like all ghosts from those periods are wearing gowns.
Yeah.
Our ghosts would be like wearing like sweatpants and this on the haunt shirt I'm wearing.
A tank top with a dinosaur waving a pride flag.
Right, like that's what our ghosts would wear. And there's this ghost wearing this beautiful long gown and Colonel Sanders suit. And here we are farting and just covered in Cheeto dust.
For sure. Hey, the times they are changing.
They are. We're just real women.
Yes.
Take it or leave it.
That's right. Whether we're dead or alive.
I hope there are Cheetos in the afterlife. Puffs, preferably.
I'm not a huge Cheeto fan.
No?
I'm kind of...
There aren't many chips I don't
What would be
like.
my ghost food I would just really want to have?
I have so many snacks I'd
I'm
want.
not sure.
I would want some of the Christmas tree cakes.
Yeah. Probably things I
Little
don't
Debbie.
let myself eat now.
Yeah.
So, like,
I don't have any of
cheesecake,
those. Oh, cheesecake.
Pizza.
You don't let yourself eat pizza?
No, not really. There's so many calories in a slice of pizza.
Oh,
It's
man.
really
I should
upsetting.
really care more.
All right, people are not here
Moving
for our
on.
health and fitness tips. We have none, so good thing. All right, so a lot of people say that there's a curse that touched people who live there. So Bartell, I talked about her earlier, who was tormented for so long. It says died under mysterious circumstances just a few weeks after finishing her manuscript about her experiences in the
Oh,
house.
gosh. It's tragic.
So, there's Sorry, it's giving more history on when it was built.
I'll just do doobie-doos until you're ready. Just let me know.
Darn it, I did a terrible job at editing those.
Doobie-doobie-doo.
Not all of the ghosts have been like the kindly Sam Clemens, however. Residents have reported sightings as recently as a few years ago, and some have been chilling enough to scare people away from the building forever.
Yeah.
Dennis...
the menace!
Described as a musician and photo buff. What?
He loves photos.
I guess.
Most people do. Most people love photos. He doesn't have a job. Those are...
Yeah. Those are his hobbies.
Cool, Dennis.
He's lived on the 3rd floor for more than 20 years.
Is it like apartments now, I wonder?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
He didn't want to give his last name because he was embarrassed to be sharing ghost stories.
Dennis, live your truth, man.
But he says he's seen little clips and visions of women in long gowns, again, going from room to room, as well as experienced seemingly random flickering of lights.
Ugh.
And he said, when he was asked if he thinks he's seen ghosts from the House of Death. Oh, so he doesn't live in there. Sorry. He lives in that like white building that's adjacent to it.
Oh, okay. But he sees it like through his window?
No, he's seeing it there and he's saying, well, walls don't stop them from doing anything. So he's saying they're passing through the walls from the House of Death into his apartment.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Well, also, you always hear about how like ghosts don't live in how buildings are now. They live in how they were then.
Right.
You know, so maybe in the past, I mean, not necessarily this story, but like, you know, maybe in the past...
It was all one.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a hallway across there or whatever.
Yes. So,
weird.
He recalled one night many years ago when he was photographing a dancer in his living room.
So
are you a photographer or a photo buff?
I'm sorry, Dennis is creepy. Was she there willingly?
Yeah, I don't know.
Girl, you need help?
This was like, what was I listening
You
to?
in danger, girl. That's from...
Yeah, no, I know
True Crime Obsessed and
no, that's from
Pretty
Ghost.
Woman. Oh, Ghost. I need to watch Ghost again. It's really been a minute.
But anyways, what was I listening? I was listening to a podcast about a girl who talked about how she used to like go, to people's apartments and stuff for modeling gigs or whatever. It was really
creepy.
No, that's not safe.
No, that's so creepy.
Okay, so anyways, he's photographing this dancer in the living room, and he leaves her alone in the room for a minute. But the dancer, while she's waiting on him, was startled to see a lady in a long flowing gown, followed by a cat walk into the room. So the dancer picked up her stuff and ran out. And he said she wasn't the first female visitor who fled his apartment after being spooked.
Yeah, by him.
Well, maybe you're the problem, Dennis.
Right. Oh,
he says some of them would never come back. Okay, Dennis,
that's you. It's your breath, dude.
The most detailed account of life in the possessed buildings comes from Bartel's memoir. So remember, she wrote this and died just.
Oh my God! Can you just get it on like Amazon?
It's called Spindrift, Spray from a Psychic Sea.
What?
So much.
That's so
much in that title.
Ew, spray?
Yeah, it says from the first day her and her husband Fred moved into the top floor that was once the service quarters, she felt the strange chill of the house closing in around her, but due to a housing shortage at the time, she had little choice but to stick it out. The occurrences started out small, with just footsteps following her up the stairs. Well, that to me isn't small.
That's yes.
A brush against the back of her neck, even when her hair was tied up.
Sorry, I thought you meant... I'm imagining an actual brush.
Oh, no.
Brushing her hair aggressively.
So she's just saying she knows it wasn't her actual hair brushing her neck because her hair was...
Oh, that gives you a chill, you know?
And a strange rotting smell that would seemingly come and go. Ooh. And then things got even darker. Shadows that absolutely no light would touch. A mysterious chair that their dog would snarl and growl at.
Was it theirs?
Yeah, I mean, it was I don't know. It was a chair in their apartment, but for some reason
he didn't like it.
Just focused on that. Then okay, I didn't read this.
And then your face, Amy, your face. I love when it's my favorite when your face does this in the middle of a story, though, because you just read something that you're like, huh? And you're so surprised.
Oh, shut up. You're going to say huh, too. A phantom shriveled grape.
That's called a raisin! That is a name!
That appeared at the dead center of a clean dinner plate, even though the couple hadn't bought grapes in months.
Well, that's why it's shriveled! This grape's like, you mother
dishes!
Eat
Mrs. Bartell, I
me!
don't remember what her name is.
I hate food waste!
Yeah.
That's, again, called a raisin, isn't it?
Yes, a raisin is a dried
I know,
grape.
but if you just leave your grapes, like, in your refrigerator for months,
Or
will it turn
ferments.
into a
Or it's
raisin?
wine.
How do you make
What?
a raisin? If you just leave a grape out,
Don't
will
you
it
have to
turn...
dry them in the sun? I don't. Why are you asking me?
You're smart, Amy. Okay, well, our title has to be something about a dried, shriveled
Phantom
grape.
Shriveled grape.
I'm writing it down right now.
Phantom shriveled grape. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Why didn't you just leave that out of your memoir? Like,
Thank God she did
You've
it.
got, like, people touching you and your dog barking at chairs and furniture inexplicably
Well, why would you
moving.
make that up? It almost, like, legitimizes her story, because why would you make that up,
true,
you
I
know?
guess. But also, I would be afraid people would judge my housekeeping ability. It's like
Like we are?
Yes, old grape.
It just fell from the ceiling.
That was
That's
the worst when my kids were little too. Like we go through a drive-through somewhere.
Oh, God,
And then
yeah.
like months
It's my
later,
life
I would
right
find
now.
like a petrified
Chicken
White Castle
nugget.
slider. Like, man, that's as hard.
Or you
as
get
a
in their
rock.
car and you're like, I smell something, but I don't know where that's coming from. So
one of life's
this is
mysteries,
just where I
is what
it's
it
my
is.
home now.
She also had furniture inexplicably moved from its usual place, and the sound of crashing glass would chase her around the building.
What?
She would just like run, like, ah! And there's just glass shattering all over.
Oh my God. That's horrifying.
That is very horrifying.
The shriveled grape, not so much.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
The odors that appeared out of nowhere, one was fragrant, like an ancient perfume. What? Like Chanel
What?
number 5, or
Amber?
like what the Greek gods wore. I don't understand why it's ancient.
The Greek gods wore
Or I mean the ancient Greeks. Those two. What did
Greek-
Zeus and his Axe body spray?
Oh my God.
And other,
The Greek gods are wearing perfume.
Hey, they want to smell
it's
nice.
just so funny.
And other rotting miasma. That was
What?
offensive. I don't know.
Does that word even mean?
Then one day a man appeared.
What?
Bartell reached out to touch it. What?
Touch what?
The man.
Oh.
She wrote in her book, what was it I touched? A substance without substance. Listen,
That's what she said.
yes. He's like, hey, lady,
Give me a break, man.
at least I clean up my rotting fruit. Back off. I don't know her name. I just know her last name is Bartell. I can't even be like, shut up, Judy. He was chilly and damp.
Oh, I would never imagine a ghost to be damp.
Diaphanous. I don't even
What
know
are
that
these
word.
words? She's like a
As
genius.
marsh mist or a cloud of ether.
What?
I could feel my fingers
like
freeze
humid-
at the tips. Ooh.
Oh.
They were numb, yet they tingled. In the split second between contact and recoil, the scent came.
What scent?
Fragile and languorous. And sweet. Unbearably, cloyingly sweet.
Like shriveled grapes.
Finally, Bartell and her husband decided to fight back, so they called a paranormal expert and
time.
a medium to see if they
Time.
could help.
They're just covered in
Yes.
grapes. Grapes everywhere.
Grapes.
In their bed, in their bathtub. They can't even get
over
out
the
the
place.
door.
No. It's like the episode of
Tidal
I Love
wave.
Lucy.
Yes.
You're just stomping grapes.
Tidal wave of grapes.
Yes.
Tiny shriveled ones.
Immediately, the medium felt a presence. There was
Yeah.
something dead under the floorboard.
Oh.
3 things, maybe.
Oh,
A young girl with curly hair. Oh, this is very descriptive.
oh gosh.
A young girl with curly hair, blue eyes, and a tiny nose.
Oh.
An aborted child. And a small gray cat.
Oh God.
How does she know this? I think this is just the medium saying it. I don't think they actually found these things.
Yeah, but still, it's.
Suddenly, the medium snapped into a trance. So this is ghost.
You in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl. And was possessed with the spirit of Renee Mallison, a 19-year-old who said she was born in 1848. She blamed Abraham Lincoln for killing her husband, Henry McDermott.
Dylan McDermott?
Henry McDermott. Oh. By making him fight in the Civil War.
Aww.
And she wailed over her aborted child.
Well,
What? I don't know. So the paranormal expert had heard enough. He told the spirits to vacate the premises immediately because the Bartels were the rightful occupants.
19-year-old ghosts. Am I right?
Yeah. Leave these people in peace. The medium's voice shot back, an explosion. Hang on.
And said,
a button. Never! I will never leave here. Bartel repeated.
I hate Abraham Lincoln!
They will have to go. This is my home. I will never leave. Oh, I just made a fart noise with my hands.
And Amy's doing weird hand gestures that are intense.
After that, the Bartels didn't feel safe, so they went ahead and moved shortly.
Well, yeah. I mean, what?
But she could never shake the feeling that the house had poisoned her.
How you hate Abraham Lincoln?
And Dennis came back to, say he got a copy.
I already forgot who Dennis was. I mean, kind of.
Of the book, I guess, from a girl he met browsing the Strand for books about the occult. Dennis is a creep.
Yeah,
So
Dennis
leave the women alone.
Dennis is.
And he swears a copy of the book fell off the shelf and onto her hand. Dennis, you're a liar.
He reminds me of someone else.
Yeah,
that we know
from Dennis. So, okay, this is really terrible and sad.
Oh, gosh.
This made the news and everything.
Okay.
So 15 years after Bartel died, a much more shocking real-life tragedy occurred at the house next door to her old home. It says at number 14. So that's kind of how they number the...
Sure.
Because you know how in New York, all the houses are really close together. Joel Steinberg, a well-heeled lawyer, and his girlfriend, Hedda Nussbaum, an editor of children's books at Random House, appeared to be the typical professional couple. They were well-liked on their street. They told friends and neighbors that they had adopted 2 children, 6-year-old Lisa and toddler Mitchell, who was 18 months old. But their middle-class facade crumbled in November of 1987. So after freebasing cocaine, Steinberg beat Lisa, leaving her bruised and broken on the bathroom floor. So remember, Lisa's the little 6-year-old.
Oh, my God.
He went out to meet friends, leaving Nussbaum, too frightened of his wrath, so that's the girlfriend, to help Lisa in the next room.
Oh, my God.
Steinberg returned home late that night. He and Nussbaum freebased more cocaine until 4 a.m. with Lisa still unconscious in the bathroom. It wasn't until 6:30 a.m. that Nussbaum finally called the authorities. When the police arrived, the second-floor apartment was in eerie disarray. Nussbaum answered the door with her face bruised and battered, her lips split open. She wandered the apartment, hiding behind doors while the medics attended to Lisa. Mitchell, the 18-month-old, was soaked in urine and covered with dirt and was tied to a playpen with a length of a rope around his waist. Oh, my God. Lisa died 3 days later in the hospital. Oh, my God. So residents of the building had reported Steinberg before on suspicions of abusing Nussbaum and Lisa. Dennis next door. Oh, God. Remember seeing Joel in a tender moment carrying the girl on his shoulder? We don't believe anything you say,
Yeah, and
Dennis.
so what? That doesn't negate...
So Steinberg ended up being convicted of first-degree manslaughter and served 16 years in prison.
That's it. That's great.
And the investigation revealed he had never legally adopted either of those children. So that was a lie.
God.
So the happenings...
Our legal system.
So that's why this is known as, the House of Death.
Yeah.
So the happenings of the House of Death have, really just spread like wildfire throughout the neighborhood and, the adjacent homes and apartment buildings. So in the apartment complex next door to it, residents started noticing flickering lights. Several residents reported a ghostly female figure, again in the long gown. So I'm starting to think that's legit.
Yeah. Just keeps happening.
And things floating through the doors. Since Steinberg's horrific crime, things have been relatively placid, it says. They've been kind of quiet lately. Philip Ernest Schuberg, author of Ghosts of Manhattan, who also runs the Ghosts of New York tours, which would be super cool.
Yes.
Says the houses are hardly the most haunted in the city. That distinction might belong to the Merchant's House Museum. But the block itself might be more imbued with a spectral history of New York than people think, he says. The spirit of Emma Lazarus, who wrote The New Colossus, the poem on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty, has been spotted still lurking around her old house.
Oh, my God.
Next to the House of Death. Mystery writer Dashiell Hammett and romantic partner Lily Hellman, who wrote the play Little Foxes. I don't know. Among others, I would be like, if I saw their ghosts, I wouldn't know that's who they were. No. Edgar Allan Poe.
That we would know.
His last known residence was on that same block. He was at number 17.
Interesting.
Where a woman rejected his marriage proposal.
Aww.
So that's where his heart was broken. So maybe his ghost is
maybe
hanging out there too.
Wow.
You have Jason Weingarten, who used to walk dogs 5 days a week for a tenant who lived in the House of Death. And inside the house, he said it definitely feels very old, but he doesn't feel like it feels haunted. But he also notes that author Emily Post had lived next door. So this is like a pretty hopping neighborhood.
Yeah, really.
So, and then it just kind of goes on to describe the house itself is still very elegant, well-proportioned, gives no clues as to the accumulated terror within. It's just a classic brownstone on near Washington Square in Greenwich Village. So there are a lot of frightening stories that surround it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of become a part of the fabric that makes up the building and the neighborhood, and it is, just what
it's cool. I want to live on that. I want to live on that block.
So that was the House of Death in Greenwich Village, New York.
Amy, so good, girl.
Thanks.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, well, thank you for listening.
We appreciate you.
You're so cute and nice.
Yes, we love you.
If you don't mind, rate, review, and subscribe. That's
Please.
really helpful. If you're not listening on Apple Podcasts, that's okay. We're not either. Follow us on Spotify or Amazon Music or wherever you listen. If there's somewhere you like to listen and we're not there, let us know and we can figure that out. Follow us on social media.
Yeah, this is episode number 35, I believe. So we're running out of ideas. Here I am. I shouldn't speak for myself.
It's hard.
If you have something you would like to hear us cover, shoot us an email.
Yes, please.
Send us a DM. Comment on our socials. Do anything you would like to. We'll do it. We'll ruin it for you, probably.
We will.
And tell it completely and accurately.
That's exactly right.
We would love to cover it.
Yes, please.
Because I don't know what else Hometown Horror has to offer me. So I may be really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yes. Well, yeah. Let us know. We'd love to do it. Follow us on our socials. We're at On The Haunt on Facebook and Instagram, at On Haunt Podcast on Twitter. I'm at Haunted Whitney on Twitter.
I'm at Amy on the Haunt on Twitter.
What else? Send us an email. onthehaunt@gmail.com. We got merch, yo. If you have any interesting merch or anything that you'd like to see, we still have our Bathsheba Triflin shirts from episode 1, which is back up and live. We've got how many up now of our old episodes? 9? Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
We're working on going back through those and just kind of taking a look at them with a 2021 lens.
Yeah, cleaned them up a little.
Yep, and so those will be coming back out soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Thanks.
We love you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
I don't know. Clearly you didn't join us.
Love you. Goodbye.
Bye.